Hello and welcome to Tiffany's Revealing Purpose Moments. Today we will discuss setting boundaries. What are boundaries, you may ask? Boundaries are important, but why are they important? Why do they hold such a significance in our lives? Why do we need them? Well, close your eyes for a moment. I want you to sit back. I want you to do something. Close your eyes and I want you to think about all the things that you've said yes to today. Think about all the things that you've allowed to have the word yes attached to it. You know, and it doesn't have to be bad things. It could be something where someone may have offered you something and you said sure. Maybe, would you like a cup of coffee? Would you like to go out and have lunch? You know, and you may have said yes to it, but at the same point, it may have caused something with your day to be out of whack. What we'll talk about today are boundaries, why they are important, and what do they do for us in our day-to-day life. First of all, regardless, a life without boundaries will eventually spiral out of control. How many times are your plans redirected by the needs of others? When in this type of situation, where do you seek your direction? Do you seek your direction from just what that need is or how bad that person's calling? You know, they're calling your phone back to back and you're like, oh, let me answer this call and okay, sure, I'll do it. And you answer and you tell them yes. But how did that yes affect your day? How did that non-boundary that was present at that moment, that sporadic choice and decision, how did it affect your day? Let's talk about it. First of all, your plans are lots of times redirected by people because lots of times they have no boundary. So what they want is to impart on your day, and they may ask you to do something without notice. And you, being the person you are, may want to just meet the need. Well, if you if you charge at each request, meaning every time somebody calls your name Tiffany and you run to that request every time, if you do that every time, eventually you will burn out. You will run out of energy. You will run out of energy even for yourself and your immediate loved ones. I'm speaking about your children, your husband, maybe, you know, your immediate household individuals that you're responsible for. So you will burn out. For me, I'll just speak, for me, my boundaries and my direction, when I have those decisions or when people ask me of something, I seek my direction from God. I ask God to show me, you know, to direct me, to help me, so that I make the right and proper decision. Because sometimes we'll make a choice and it's not the right choice. And we do it to meet the need or to help the individual, but we put ourselves in bad positions. So we want to make sure that our direction and our decisions are being guided and we're not just doing something sporadically. And it puts us in a bad, compromising position later. Okay, so God is the director of my choices. I ask Him again to show me and help me. A life with undirected or unanchored, that's not with a solid, sound guidance. So you're just going at every whim and everything that, you know, every time somebody calls your name, you're running and you're doing it. A life like that will eventually have you derailed, and you will always play catch up because you'll never get anything done. You're always busy and on the go for everybody else because where are your boundaries? Where are those boundaries that will help you to not feel guilty for saying, I don't think I'll be able to do that today, or no, I'm busy, I already have something planned, or just no. Because sometimes you don't need an explanation. You just simply need to say those two letters, N-O, no. It's very difficult. Think about it. Think about all the times you've said yes today. I'll guarantee you said yes more than you said no. Right? I thought so. Boundaries are not telling everyone no. It's not a way for you to be selfish. or just making sure that you put yourself first. That's not what a boundary is. And that's why lots of people don't have them, because they feel bad about it. They feel like they're shutting people out or not being there for others. But what a boundary does is it sets that firm foundation for yourself as well as others that you encounter. There are various types of boundaries. So what we'll do really quick is talk about 3 types of boundaries. So the first type of boundary is an emotional boundary. The second boundary is a relationship boundary, and the third boundary is a personal boundary. So for an emotional boundary, what does this mean? An emotional boundary means that you have to take the time to separate yourself, separate your thoughts, separate your feelings from those feelings and thoughts of others. Meaning, just because a person feels a certain way or thinks a certain way, you should not always feel like you have to go along with what they think or what they feel. You should be in charge of your own boundaries and your own thoughts and your own feelings. And those are emotional boundaries. Lots of times, if a person doesn't see that you agree, sometimes they may take that as you're against them, or you're, not on their team or not on their side. If you have an emotional boundary set, sometimes that means that you will go against what the other person thinks or feels. And that person, if they're a real friend or a real companion that that you can trust, they will understand. It's okay to agree to disagree. It's not gonna kill or hurt anybody that we think differently or we feel differently. The second boundary, a relationship boundary. What does this mean? Well, it can mean many things. When I think of a relationship boundary, I think of it as anything that could make me feel uncomfortable, anything that could make me feel like negative, any self-esteem issues that I develop from that relationship. Are there any, values or beliefs that are there in that relationship that tear me from my own beliefs or values? So an example of a relationship boundary could be where you may want to lose weight, and you may have a significant other that feels that you don't need to lose weight. Or it may be vice versa, where you think you're beautiful and you have someone who's super weight conscious and super, on you every day about this and not accepting of you. And it causes your self-esteem to go down. It causes you to think that, well, something is wrong with me. You start to take those personal hits because that personal relationship that you have is causing you to feel like something's wrong with you. So having a relationship boundary means I know who I am, I accept who I am, and I don't allow others to affect who I am. You don't allow those in that relationship to make you feel like you're less than them, or you're not as equipped as they are, or you are beneath them, or that they can demean you. And you know your value. So that relationship boundary is very important. And it could be in a marital relationship. It could be in a friendship form of a relationship. It could be in a family relationship, with a mother or a father or a sister or a sibling. It doesn't matter. Any form of relationship, you should always have boundaries set. It could be with your children. You want that child to have that respect, to know that, okay, as a parent, this is where the line is drawn. So having that relationship boundary is very important. And it's also important that you know it. And also it's important that you know it and that they know it. It needs to be aligned. Everybody needs to be aware of what that boundary is. And so that's very important. The third boundary is that personal boundary. Your personal boundary means you're mindful of others, and you also know their treatment towards you. You're mindful of their treatment towards you. You don't invade the space of others. You don't allow them to humiliate you, and you don't humiliate yourself. And you don't talk badly about them. So it's a personal boundary. going through your belongings. These are your personal items. So a personal boundary that's broken could be where you don't allow people to go through your things. These are my things. This is my room. This is my desk. Maybe at work you have someone taking things off of your desk. That's a personal boundary. So those boundaries need to be set, and it needs to be clear to others that this is my personal space and it should be respected. So I have an action step for you today. Today I would like for you to create a list, and in that list I would like for you to list the 3 boundaries. But first I would like for you to list all of the people that you have interactions with. I would like for you to list all the people at work. I would like for you to list your children, your husband, your family, your church members, whoever, all the individuals that you have interactions with, your friends. And then I would like for you to put 3 columns up top: emotional, relationship, and personal. And then I want you to go down your list of people, and if you have an emotional boundary, I want you to check it. If you have a relationship boundary for that person, check it. And if you have a personal boundary for that person, check it. You may only have 1 boundary per person, that's fine. But if you know that each of these people have a emotional relationship or personal relationship, I want you to check the boxes.